Welcome to the Off Balance Podcast, where faith, family, and business collide with your host, Dr. Brooks Deming, Christian life coach, intercessor, and entrepreneur.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Brooks. Welcome to Off Balance, a podcast for adults trying to balance life. Thank you for tuning in each week to learn strategies to help you be the better version of yourself. The sponsor of today's episode is Clothed by J. Christine, a Christian-based clothing store offering quality and affordable clothing for the everyday fashionable conscious woman. Today's guest is the owner and operator of Specs Custom Writing, a boutique writing agency based in the DFW Metroplex that offers specialty marketing documents such as resumes, cover letters, thank you letters, biographies, and other professional written materials to professionals and business owners nationwide. She is also the host of Hey DFW, a podcast that brings the latest and greatest inside look at places to eat, visit, and network in and around the DFW area. My guest today is entrepreneur Erin Seals.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
I am doing well. It's a beautiful day in Texas, so I'm happy.
Well, I am so glad that you are having awesome weather because we have actually had thunderstorms for like the past 4 or 5 days.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, weather here has been horrible. So I am glad that you have good weather there. So for my listening audience, can you tell them who is Erin Seals?
Well, I am a content creator, I'm a writer, and I am a blogger and solopreneur and fur mom.
You are a lot. You have a lot going on. So
I
you
do.
said that you are a content creator. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, yeah, so I, of course, like I started a blog when I first moved to Texas. So pretty much because I majored in, I'll just start going way back. I majored in like broadcast journalism, and I always, kind of thought of things like as far as like reputation management and things of that sort. And when social media like really like, start to like Facebook started to come out and things of that sort, I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna get on there. I know this is gonna, blow up. People are gonna do things. It's gonna be crazy. And I was right. But, I finally got on there. I only have like, close friends, which I still do on my personal page. And when I moved to Texas, my friends was like, girl, we're not on Facebook anymore. You need to get on Instagram. And they always talked about people, following people and who they're following. And I was like, well, if I get on there, I need to have a purpose. I need to be able to do something because I'm not going to post the same thing I post on Facebook that I would post on Instagram. And I'll just kind of, see where that goes. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm a blog my way and talk about, living in a new city and some experiences I wanted to do and things that I'm trying. And I was like, okay, we're going to do Hey DFW. So I started that and I just post, a ton of food pics, some networking events, and just things that I've been experiencing since I've been here. And then it kind of morphed into not kind of, because it is like a YouTube channel. And the background with that, so my cousin contacted me and said, hey, my friend is starting a radio station here. Would you like to have a show on there? And I was like, okay, cool. I could do that. I interview people and stuff like that. And she was like, okay. So I talked to him about, that my blog and things of that sort. But I was like, I can't get on a show and just talk about, oh my gosh, I had this food and this was good. That's a very short topic and food is visual. So I was like, I'm going to have guests. And he was like, well, you need to have your paperwork together before you do that. I was like, paperwork? He was like, yeah, because there's sponsorships involved and things of that sort. So you need to be registered as a business. I was like, oh my God, I just thought this was for fun. So I was like, oh my God. So and like in the midst of DFW, I was starting like my content writing business. And I was just doing it like basically kind of freelance part-time. So I was like, well, you know what? I may as well add that to the LLC.
Yeah.
And so I did. So I created an LLC. And I put my writing business and Hey DFW under that business. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, it's a business. So I have to treat it like a business now, right? So I started that, and so far it's so good. But I definitely would say with Hey DFW, I do probably need to do a little bit more like planning and things. Like life happened, and I'm constantly putting content out there, but I haven't been doing as many interviews as I wanted to. So that's where we are with that one. And my other business is Specs Custom Writing Services. So that goes back to, the writing, me writing and a journalism background. And I started that because I've always worked two jobs. As a single person, I feel like you always need to at least have two incomes coming in. So if I'm not married, I need two incomes coming in because you never know what's going to happen. You always need some extra money. You could save, you could do whatever with it, but it's extra money. So I was tired of just working like jobs that had a schedule. I had to request off from two jobs. I, was missing out on my weekend. So I was like, you know what? I want to do a business. I don't know what to do. And for years, people were telling me, will send me their resumes to proofread and things of that sort. And me and my friend were, going over her resume, and I made some, adjustments to it and some corrections and revisions. And she's like, you would talk about doing a business, you need to do resume writing. I was like, I don't know. I said, I gotta see, I didn't really see myself like doing that. She's like, but it'll bring in some extra revenue. I think you're really good at it. And I said, okay. And then of course I done my research, and I was like, all right, well, here we go. And then I started that. So it was pretty much like, specs is pretty much more like, okay, clients and, writing, and Hey DFW is like fun, learning, talking to people and, just showing my life and things of that sort. So that's where I am with all that stuff. It's a mouthful.
No, both of those are actually really, really good because I work in HR, and what I see is a lot of people do not know how to write resumes. And so a lot of the times when they apply for positions and then when they discover that they wasn't referred to the hiring manager, they, submit an inquiry. And so then when you have to explain to them, well, you did not explain what you did, in your current position or prior positions. And so then, they're kind of disheartened. So it's actually a really good idea that you started a company to help people with their resumes because, like I said, that skill set is just lacking. And so what has it been like as far as, starting your company and then trying to do your marketing and just to get your name out there? What has that experience been like for you?
Well, the good thing about it is I'm not a young business owner, I'm a seasoned professional. And with that being said, my first clients were people that I know, I know other professionals. So when I put it out there that I did resumes, my first clients were people that I knew, and then they referred other people that I did not know. So a lot of my business is word of mouth. So that's always a good thing. The marketing portion can be challenging at times because I still, work a full-time job. So, and even though marketing campaigns can run by themselves and work by themselves while you're at work, they're still planning. There's still how much I want to spend. You still have to review the analytics and see, well, what did this do? How did this work? And things of that sort. So marketing is forever changing. I was doing it very, very heavily at first by going to networking events, running Facebook ads and running specials. And I also started a referral, where if you get your resume done or you refer someone to me, if you send someone to me, if they choose to get a resume, I'll give you $25. So they, yeah, and that works pretty well. And people actually like that because it's just like $25 for mentioning my name. And basically, the client paid for that $25. So I'll just take the fee that I charge the client. And once we close out the invoice, that 20 minus $25, I'll cash out the person who referred me and say, thank you for your referral.
Wow,
So,
that was very smart. And so you have a journalism background. And so basically, how did that inspire? Because both of your businesses are just such cool ideas. And I really love the brand that you are making with Hey DFW. So how did that inspire you to just like, because it's a blog, but it's also a vlog because you have really cool reels, you do different videos and things of that nature. So did your journalism background kind of inspire you to do that?
Yes and no, because when I went to school, we didn't have all these things, so everything I'm learning now is, of course, like a lot of, older content creators, it's pretty much self-taught. But I knew I've always wanted to, one of the main reasons why I went into journalism is because I love Oprah, I love Lisa Ling, I love the art of
Yeah.
storytelling. And and I love how, you can learn something by someone sharing some information, and everybody has really, I mean, if you, no matter who you talk to, everybody has a really good story to tell. And I feel like even though my stuff is fun, a lot of the questions that I get, from my friends is like, okay, well, how is it, living there? Or, oh, did you go to this place? Or people are DM me, you should try this place. Or sometimes the business will say, or email me or DM me and say, hey, why don't you come here? You get free, chips.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much, it's like once I started seeing the feedback and the love and the support, it's like, okay, all right, I keep going. So it's a little bit of both with that, but the journalism part does come in, like, of me touching on certain topics and having like strong opinions about XYZ, because you don't want to be biased, and then you also want to keep to that brand. Because sometimes the stuff that comes out, I'm like, oh no, they didn't. But it's like, girl, you talk about food. Now you can't say anything about that. So it's a little. I do have that struggle too, because like, I follow a lot of news, a lot of stories. I know a little bit about everything I would like to say, and that's not necessarily reflected, just because I just like to. I'm a news junkie, so a lot of stuff I would like to discuss, but I don't. It doesn't fit into that.
So I have a question. So I follow Hey DFW, and I'm like, if I ever come to Dallas, I just really, have you ever considered like tours?
I thought about it, but I was thinking about like maybe like do like a party tour or something like that, or like, hey, let me host your next girls' night out or something like that, because I have some great recommendations and things. But that will probably have to be like later on down the line when I have the time to plan, because that will take business partnerships, of course waivers and forms, a lot of planning, but that's something I thought about, because a lot of my friends, when they come here, I always do a cool itinerary. We have a lot of fun, and it's not overwhelming where it's like we doing this at 9, we're doing this at 11. I'm pretty much a chill person, so I like to plan things according to your budget, as well as you getting some me time in as well. So I have considered it, but
Yeah,
later.
'cause I could definitely see that, because when I watch like your content, I'm just like, if I ever come to Dallas, I would just love to experience like the different areas that you go, because you do a lot of really cool restaurant, bars, and even like boutiques. And so I
Mhm.
just thought that that would be just a good, like, girls' day out, or just a good
Mhm.
weekend, because you do a lot of good content. And I can tell that you try to keep it, you know, as unbiased as possible. And so I like
Mhm.
that, because you do give honest reviews. And so when business owners see you, or, see you in their establishment, are they like, like give you a warm welcome? Or are they kind of nervous? How has that been for you?
Well, since it's still fairly small, I don't tell them, "Hey, I'm reviewing you now," But sometimes it has came out if they see me. It depends on. I have a small gimbal, so it depends on what you got, which is because it's a phone. Everybody's taking pictures, but if I'm walking around with the gimbal, I'm approached like, "Hey, so what's your name?" Like, what are you doing? Why are you filming the outside and coming in the inside? So, and then after that, if I explain to them, I'll show them my Instagram. I get like a special dish sometimes, but I don't say that because I don't want to encourage, say, hey, y'all tell them y'all do this. I want the businesses, to make money and things of that sort. So I don't say anything. I just come in there, just have an experience, and then I take my food pictures and my videos, and then I come back at a later date and do my voiceovers and stuff like that. But I take notes in my phone about like, okay, I didn't like this, or this is cool, or they could work on this. And then when I get ready to do my will, I go back, and that's what I go back from my notes and review it.
See, that is really cool. So I don't really pay attention if you have like a strategy or a pattern, but when you go into these businesses, are there like certain things that you're reviewing? Like as far as like atmosphere or anything like that?
Yeah. I review it from a standpoint, from just being a chick, wanting to just go out and have a good time. And of course, me being here and, I mean, I have my sister's here, but she has like 2 kids. So we live completely, totally different lives. I can't be like, hey girl, let's try this happy hour. That's not what she does. Yeah. So I had to kind of just go to these establishments by myself and then see what it is for myself. And then that way, let other people know. But the strategy is, of course, like anybody, like, okay, it's cool. Is the price good? How is parking? Because people want to know about parking. Customer service. And I always like do on a written part, if I ever do something writing, is it good for date night or is it good for girls' night out? So that's pretty much like my strategy. Those are the questions that I ask myself and say, these are the things that I would want to know. So maybe the people that are watching me would want to know this as well.
Yeah, because that's very interesting. Because I know for myself, I don't like loud establishments. Like I just want to be able to go in and be able to have a conversation. And so what I've noticed is the majority of the places that you go, they seem to have a vibe that's very professional, very even it can go either or. It can be like a date night or a girls' night out. And so you have a good taste when it comes to picking these locations. So how do you pick them?
Sometimes I see them on Instagram. Sometimes I get a DM. I see them on TikTok. And if, and what I do is I have like a little save space on my Instagram. I'll see a place and I have like, how they say they allow you to save things on Instagram. Yeah. I'll put places to go. And so I'll know, okay, I'm going to try this place eventually. Or like if someone calls me and say, hey, Erin, coming to town, I was like, you know what? I saved this place. Let's go here. It looks cool. And we'll do that. So that's pretty much how I do. Or like, my coworkers might refer somewhere to me. So it's a little bit of referral, a little bit of, you see it on TikTok or Instagram. And then, of course, some DMs.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because I said she must be a part of like the chambers of commerce or something, because Dallas is huge. Dallas is a very huge city. And so for you to be able to not only, visit those places that are very intriguing, because like I said, a lot of your content, I tell my husband, when we go to Dallas, we are going to visit some of these restaurants.
Yes.
Are you ready to take your personal or professional growth to the next level? Introducing my tailored coaching experience, a personalized journey designed to help you achieve your goals and unlock your full potential. With 3 in-depth 90-minute coaching calls, we'll work together to create a customized plan tailored specifically to your unique needs and aspirations. Whether you're navigating a career transition, launching a business, or seeking clarity in your personal life, this program is designed to guide you towards success. With actionable strategies and unwavering support every step of the way, you'll receive a coaching roadmap, a personalized step-by-step plan to keep you focused and aligned with your goals. Take the first step toward your transformation by visiting brooksdeming.com.
I have been to Dallas so many times, and I promise you, I've never been to some of those places. And when you go out of town or when you visit places, you're like, I'm not going to do chain. I want to really try, the local spots. I want to really try those, hidden gems in the cities. And so your idea of Hey DFW, that was just, I'm telling you, a unicorn.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think you realize the gem that you have.
Thank you.
So you are doing a really, really good job with that. And so when it comes to like birthday parties and all of that type of stuff, when you go like to other events in different places, do you kind of vlog about that, or do you just keep it to, I'm going to do the restaurant?
It depends, because I definitely say I was going to talk about this on my YouTube channel about like, how do you say, content creator etiquette almost. Because sometimes people don't, you want to chill, they want to spend time with you. It's their day, and if, you around filming, it's like, girl, so it depends on where it is and what we're doing, and then if it's like, what I would probably do is I won't really do a lot of material. So one of my friends, she's in marketing, so she understands that. But I got my food. When we all got our food, I got my food out. I got the ladies' food next to me. And when I went to the bathroom to take a restroom break, I filmed the restaurant and I put my phone down and engaged with the crowd. So I try to just, not make it about that the entire time. But a networking event, it's fair game. But if it's about someone else, I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes of my time. You might miss out on some content, but it's okay. I don't know if you've seen it was a video that was out, and it was like, when you're out to eat with a content creator and the person's like sitting there trying to eat, that's what it looks like. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, because I've had those looks before, like, hold on, don't drink it yet. Let me get a wheel, So I try to do a little bit, be a bit more considerate about, who I'm with and stuff like that. But most people understand that's what I'm doing. But I definitely keep it to a minimum, and I turn my phone down. I put it on silent so I can pay attention.
So that's really good, because that's considered what we would say work-life balance. So but oh my God, I know that would be kind of hard, because that is like what you do. And so how do you kind of like gauge the people that you're with, as far as, to see if it's okay, or is it just like a respect thing?
It's just a respect thing, because they already know about it. Most of them follow Hey DFW anyway. But I just give it 5 minutes versus, longer times, 10 at the max. But I don't take away from their moment or being around, them to say, okay, hold on, y'all. If I don't get everybody's food, I don't get everybody's food. If I don't get a look at the whole restaurant, I don't get a whole look at the restaurant. I just, because the thing is, once you put it out there, they don't know what you know or what you were trying to do. They just kind of see the end result, right? So I just make it about that and go from there.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because like when you do all of your content, I'm like, I wonder how much time did it really take, because you come on and you're like showing us all these different things. And I know a lot of time and effort go into that, but it just seems so seamless, because you'll give us a panoramic of the restaurant, and then you'll give us, like, depending on where you were, little different things. And so it's cool how you do your edits and put everything together, because I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how much time did she really have to spend getting us all of this good footage. So you do a good job with your editing too.
Thank you.
And so you are big on Instagram, and then you have a couple of reels that go on Facebook, but are you also on TikTok?
I am. I just started TikTok like this year. I was fighting it, because it's like one more password I gotta remember, second authentication, 2-factor. Like, I don't want to do it. So, but I went ahead and did it, and it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, because it's a lot. Because I know I try to market on different. It's too many platforms. It's just too many. You have YouTube, you have Instagram, or do you do Twitter as well?
I do have a Twitter. I'm not on there as big, but I do it.
Okay, because I was going to say, it's a lot of platforms, and to be able to plan out the content that you want to put on all of these different platforms, that's another job in itself.
It is. It's a lot. How I plan content. So Hey DFW content and specs is different. Like today, and one thing about Hey DFW too, Like I might eat lunch Wednesday of last week, and that might not go up until Wednesday of the next week. So a lot of times it's already been done. It might have been a few days to pass by before I do it. I just know I have my notes there, and it looks a bit more current and relevant than it is, but it sits there. Especially, I have to be a bit more strategic because the audience is different. But what has helped me in the past is, scheduling and deciding what I want to talk about. So I'll take maybe just even and doing it a month ahead of time. So like, what's this month? June. So in May, I would say, you know what, I want to talk about this, or I'll see something on Instagram or the news to say that's inspirational. I could mention this and I could just cover a few topics and go from there and, decide how I want to do that. But creating the graphic and the content with specs in general, it's a bit more, strategy, because it's not like, hey, check out this place. Yeah. You can't just say that. You're asking people to, hey, let me write for you. So you got to show that you're knowledgeable. You have to, bring them in, because there are other resume writers. Why should they choose you? So that is like a second job in itself. But if I take time out and I just sit back and I say, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about, and I will schedule my posts, and that's it. And that's the best thing. The best advice I can give anybody is to schedule your posts, because there have been times where I've had cramps and been sick, and Facebook's still going. Nobody knows that I'm at the house about to die. So it's still going, it's still up. And even my friends in the beginning, when they're like, girl, I called you and I just saw you post, I'm like, now that was scheduled. So now they know, if it's not live, or if I it's more than likely scheduled to go out. Even certain conversation pieces are scheduled to go out, because I was working on social media, at my full-time job. Then to come home and do it when I come home, that's a lot, and that's taxing. So for me, it's easier for me to do it. I spend about maybe an hour on social media, like as far as what my time frame goes. I'm actually not on there as much as people think I am. A lot of times it's just schedules.
That's really good. And that leads me into what I wanted to ask you, because a lot of people are doing multiple businesses. And so you have 2 successful businesses. And so how do you make time? Because you said you schedule, but is it something to where you say, okay, I am going to just plan out the month, or what does that look like for you? Because you do make sure that both of your companies are equally represented on the platform. So what is your strategy for doing that?
I definitely plan, because, I still have to, take care of myself. I still have to wash clothes. I still got to walk my dog. I still got to cook. So I have to plan, and I might say, okay, on Sunday, I'm just going to work specs, and that's it. And then on Saturday, I'm just going to do Hey DFW, and that's it. And sometimes I might not even have the whole month. I might just have a week, and that's okay. And and sometimes I might be like, you know what, I don't feel like posting anything this week, and that's okay. But once I do get behind it and say, okay, this is what I'm going to schedule, I plan it out, do the graphics, and schedule out, and I know that it's already taken care of. So I would definitely tell people, just make sure you plan things out. Don't overwhelm yourself. Slow and steady wins the race, and give as much time as you can to whatever you're doing. Some love, but also make some time for yourself, because I have struggled with that, where I'll just get off work and come home and get online and do stuff. Because when I have clients, sometimes my social media may suffer because I can't post because I'm working on somebody else's stuff. And I used to be hard on myself about that, but that's okay. But I plan, but the working on the social media and the scheduling and the writing the copy for is one thing. But deciding what you want to talk about first is the easiest. I know what I want to talk about on Hey DFW, because these are the places I want to eat. With specs, I just write out my topics, And then I either research them or, go back to what I've already saved, because I do save stuff. Say, okay, I like this. I'm going to piggyback off this and post something in relation to that, and go from there. So that's pretty much how I do it. And sometimes I write ideas, on my lunch break.
Yeah.
Or I might do like a wheel early in the morning or something like that before, I go to work. So it's a lot of juggling sometimes, but I just keep the train moving.
That's really good. And then your businesses, although alike, they're both content, but they're completely different. And so with Specs, I would think you would have to have a lot of high touch marketing, because people want to know, hey, she's intelligent, hey, she knows her business and all of that good stuff. So when it comes to Specs, do you do like any type of workshops or anything like that? Or do you just, again, you do workshops?
Yeah, so I was a part of, I need to renew my membership for the National Resume Writers Association. So they have workshops and classes. So I always get continued education is always good. And I do have a mentor for that. And the mentor wasn't necessarily about the writing aspect of it, but there's systems involved when you have a business and stuff. Like, I'm not really taking any payments for anybody for Hey DFW. So it's kind of like hands off with that. But with Specs, there's like, an intake form, there's a contract. There's like, a time where, hey, I meet with the client and we go over their resume together. It's completely different and it's so much more formal. But I also had to get to that point because I did, have people that didn't pay me, or I had a marketing campaign that did not work. So it's a learning process with that one too.
It definitely is, because I know when I started my boutique, it was a lot of crash and burns is what I would say. Because what I realized is a lot of entrepreneurs, although there's so many, they're kind of secretive when it comes to, lessons learned. And so for you to just be transparent about, your learning curve, I think that's, bravo to you, because a lot of people don't want to talk about the learning curve. A lot of the times we jump head first in entrepreneurship and not realizing that so much goes into it. You have to make sure you're legal. You have to make sure you know about taxes. You have to make sure you don't use your personal finances when it comes to trying to launch or all of this other stuff. And so it took me a while to learn about business credit. And so there's just so many things that people don't know. And so what advice can you give to a person that's trying to start their business and they're just kind of like out there, really don't know where to start? Like, what area or direction can you give them?
Well, definitely pray about your business and pray on your business. I pray on my business, and anoint my business for sure. Because God gave me the idea and he will, give me clients. Even when it's been like a dry season, I'll get somebody say, hey, you do resumes? I'm like, oh my God, yes. What you mean? And yeah, and also surround yourself with other entrepreneurs. I've been blessed in that sense. Where a good group of my friends are already entrepreneurs and they share information with me openly about stuff that you're just not going to get online. Get you a mentor or a business coach, but also research that business coach and research that mentor, because if someone has if they're selling like, oh, I have join my class or join my network, it's great when it's a lot of people, like it was quantity for them. But are you going to get the attention that you need? Like, I can call my mentor and say, hey, I have a question, and I can get my answer. So for me, that works better for me because I have access to someone and she's more experienced. And I was worried, when I asked her to be my mentor, because she wasn't even into that stuff. But her clientele is different from my clientele. Her prices are a little bit higher than my prices. Well, not a little, but they're different prices. And she offers more services. So I was worried, like, if she's going to think that I'm going to try to take some of her business, but she wasn't intimidated at all. So she was like, oh no, you're good. And it really helps. And I think, when she saw my writing skills, I sent her, a few of my resumes that I've worked on and things of that sort. And she's like, okay, so that helped her build confidence. Like, she don't need anybody to teach her how to write. she needs someone to teach her like certain process. Because I'll call and say, hey, what do you do when a customer says this? Or what do you do when a customer says that? So you need that to figure it out by yourself, is a lot. And if you don't have to do it, then don't do it. But definitely get you a mentor, or a coach, and pray over it, and and write down your goals. I write down my goals and say, okay, this is what I'm going to work on this month. This is what I'm going to do today on this. And don't go into it spending a ton of money. I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs make a mistake. And where you just say, okay, I need this, I need that, I need 5 of these. You can just, things change all the time. Logos change, designs change. I'm working on a new website for Specs right now. I did the first one by myself. It was a free template. Now I'm doing the one, but I also have someone helping me with it, and it's going to have more service offerings and things of that sort. And I'm happy about that, because in the beginning I didn't have the money to invest in that. Now I can, invest in making it better for the end user. So that would be my advice.
And that is so true, because I rebranded like 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'll look, and when I grow into a new space, then I'll rebrand. So I think it's important for people not to be so hard on themselves if they have to start out with Google Sites, or if they have to start out, with some of the free websites. That's okay. It's even okay to start with a 1 page. The whole goal is to start.
That's it.
So I am so glad that you said that, because I know when I first started, I was a mess. And when I look back at, where I came from, and now I'm able to get more of the marketing, more of, the automated text messages, the automated emails, and different things like that, you will get to that place. But just to try to start there, it can be difficult, especially if you don't have the funding for it. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And so we know that Specs does resumes, but do you do other type of content writing, or is it just resumes?
Yeah. So my whole goal was to, when I did the resume writing things of that sort, I was like, I want to expand this. I want to scale it a bit more, because resumes are, one and done. I could do a resume and then they're on to their next job, right? And it's, I needed something where it was more residual. And so I've already started working on press release. So I write press release for companies or business announcements and things of that sort. And I'm going into social media management. So I can manage, social media, and, there's a retainer for that. So that way it's helping my business grow, and I'm helping another business as well. So, and I'm have my prices, but I'm trying to keep them where a small business can afford them, because I really want to cater to small businesses, small and starter businesses.
That is so good, especially with the social media marketing, because I know even when I speak to people, a lot of their issues is the social media, especially when you have people that are not tech savvy, or not really familiar with algorithms, or not familiar with how social media works. And so to be able to hire someone to do that for them, that is really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is really good. You're on to something.
Yeah, it takes the work out of it, because even with resume writing, I was like, okay, why are they going to do this? How are they going to, who's going to, if they could go to this place and upload their resume and they redo it for them, who's going to hire me? But when I realized that, nobody wants to work with like someone who's not skilled in it, they're just doing it for extra money. And 2, people don't have time. People have kids, their families. You don't have time to come home and reformat your resume. You can pay somebody to do it. I pay people to do things that I know how to do, because I don't have time to do it. And that's when I saw the need for content management and things of that sort. I was like, I think this will be, really great, and this help a small business, because people. One thing about being an entrepreneur, or like a solopreneur, like doing everything by yourself is hard, and it does. To me, it takes money away from your business, but in the beginning, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
So
that's really good. And so there are so many entrepreneurs, there's so many people that write resumes. So what did Erin do to make Specs writing stand out?
I definitely market. And I like to talk to my customers. So I'm still in that. I'm not gonna say still in that, but I've been saying this thing for years that customer service is dead because you go in these big stores, you have to scan the stuff yourself, you got to do everything yourself. People still need a little hand holding and they need to be walked through the process. So when they contact me, leave a voicemail or send me an email, I'm on the phone with you. I'm returning your call. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to ask you about your needs. And the crazy thing is, a lot of them are also, stressed out. Like this supervisor did this to me, or I lost my job, or I'm trying to get a promotion. So a lot of it is empathy too, because you're hearing this, and I'm like, I want to get you out of there too. Hold on, we're gonna work this together, and that makes me feel good that I'm helping somebody get out of a toxic situation or leveling up. And I think by that, they feel good about working with me. So, and I pray for my resumes before they go out, girl. I'm like, please let this resume touch this client, let them get a job, a great, a raise and things of that sort. So it's really been good. I feel good about helping people and the end result. And I also do follow-ups and say, how did the job interview go? How did it go? It's like, okay. And, some people say I got the job, or someone say, well, girl, I haven't got around to applying yet. Because sometimes people contact me and say, this is what I want to do, but I need a resume. So I said, okay, well, good. Keep me in touch. Let me know. And, it's people know that I actually care about them and want them to succeed. So I think that helps.
Is good. That's really good. And so like my daughter is going into her senior year. And so her experience is like, doing like different type of STEM camps and things of that nature. So do you also help those students transition?
I will write. I did say I want to start doing more students. I did a student. The thing is just, with my prices and things of that sort, they are more like will go and get an on-campus solution, because some campuses, offer like, oh, they have a free resume writing service. So if they can invest in it, I will do it. But if they can't invest in it, I can't do it.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I was just trying to see like what was your clientele, because I know a lot of seniors are getting, even college students are getting to that place to where now they're trying to get paid internships and they need resumes. And so the resume is very important, as well as your academics, but that resume is very important. So it's good to know that you also would help those students as they're transitioning. So that's really good. And so you have given so much knowledge here on today. So if you can leave the listeners with one final thought, what would you tell them?
Believe in yourself for sure. I know that sounds cliche, but you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself because nobody's going to do that for you. Continue, hang around people that you admire and that can inspire you and that support you. So that's very important. And, don't give up. I've talked to some people before, even like during the resume writing process, and they'll say, hey, well, I'm thinking about starting a business. What do you think I should do? If you have to do one thing a week towards your business while you're busy, do that. Say, hey, I got my website this week. Cool. I filed for my LLC the second week. Great. Is just continue to do it. You don't have to be influenced by everybody else's time frame. Just get on your time frame, because that's one of the things I had to learn. Like, dang, this is happening, da 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 da. But you have to be on your time frame and work within your lane, and not worry about anybody else. That'll be my advice.
That is really good advice. And so if people wanted to get in touch with you, what are your social media handles, or do you have a website or anything like that?
Yes. So for Specs Custom Writing Services, Of course, the website is www.spexwriting.com. And all my handles for Specs Writing on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are at Specs Writing. And it's Specs, S as in Sam, P as in Paul, E as in Elephant, C as in Cat, S as in Sam again, Writing. So it's at Specs Writing. And for Hey DFW, it's Hey DFW. And as on, I have that's on all platforms, and it's on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Hey DFW.
Listen, guys, she is busy. She is operating 2 businesses on all of these platforms. So kudos to you, because I cannot keep up.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I know they say Facebook is dead, but let me just stay over here.
Honestly, I have most of my engagement on Facebook, and my Reels just got monetized about a month ago. So Facebook ain't dead, y'all. Facebook ain't dead. So yeah.
Facebook is dead, but I'm just like, let me just stay over here with Facebook, because trying to do all of those platforms is hard. So I just commend you, because that's a lot of work.
It is. But yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm happy. And, after we get off this, I'm going to do probably another wheel and some website stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to go see a movie tonight, but we'll see if I have time. So
that's good. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. And guys, you got her information, and I will also link it on brooksdeming.com. So make sure that you reach out to Erin for any of your content needs, as well as to see what's going on in the lovely city of Dallas, because she is everywhere. When I say everywhere, guys, she is everywhere. So just make sure that you guys keep in touch with her. This concludes today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. I hope the information presented adds value to your life. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Brooks Deming. The sponsor of today's episode was Clothed by J. Christine, a Christian clothing store offering quality and affordable clothing for the everyday fashionable conscious woman. To learn more about today's guest, visit brooksdeming.com. Until next time, be resilient.
Thanks for joining. Please rate this episode and share this podcast with your family and friends. To learn more about your host, visit www.brooksdeming.com.
Hi, I'm Tiffany of Tiffany Brown Designs. With over 20 years of creative experience across industries, I create and elevate brands one design at a time through intentional graphic and brand design, polished film and video editing, and creative artistry. Even the music you're hearing right now, that was produced by me. I also create custom tracks for websites, intros and outros, and content. So what are you waiting for? Visit TiffanyCBrownGD.com and let's bring your vision to life.